of the Research Institute for Design, Media and Culture, that is a consortium between the biggest schools in the north of Portugal. So, and one of the focus is the study, one of the principal focus in these institutions is to make relations with the culture, the tradition, and the society of these small places, small cities. Fortunately, in Barcelos, that's where we are very rich in terms of art and crafts and this traditional culture. So it's very nice to work with our students. I'm the director of the graphic design and communication course, but we also have a master in illustration animation and some courses in the digital area and some courses in the product area. So what I'm showing you here is some of the projects that we are developing with the students. I will have to read some parts because English is not my natural language. So for me not losing time and everything, so it's better for me to read some parts and the others I don't need it. So this article aims to demonstrate how the links between teaching and research and development around art and design and the identity and cultural values of the region, Barcelos, the north of Portugal, in which these students are located and can be themes of study in teaching and practices in these areas. This interaction model is a teaching tool that enhances not only the development of academic projects, but also collaboration with the community and the development of this artisanal activity in the creation of new pieces and new strategies for dissemination and communication them. So this person is one of the artisans, her name is Julia Cota. So this is people that their families for many years belong to this culture and survive from this culture. And we did in the beginning a lot of interviews, and the students are always going, I need to do work, and I interview you, and they speak about the way they produce the pieces and all these traditional pieces of Barcelos. So I have a video, but it's not translated. So here we have one problem with the font, so it's contextualization, sorry, craft figurado and Barcelos region. So this is the figurado, it's the name, it's in Portuguese, we don't have translation. So it's the forms of these pieces and these objects that are developed by the craftsmen. This is protected by law, this work. So, and that is what you see here, figurado from Barcelos, because it's a law, and you have all the items to belong to the certified figures of these pieces in Barcelos. And so this is a community that produces and lives from this and from many years. And what they do is they made these figures, these animals and not animals, persons and not persons, and hybrid persons or animals. And the themes that they work with are based in religion, but also in the pagan stories. So they do the kind of mixture between these themes and about the living, the daily living of this region in terms of agriculture and other activities. So here we have some of the projects or some of the works of the most important artisans. You will have it in my you can see in my full paper, you can see all the references and for this. So it's contextualization again, artisans and craftsmen as enhancers of creation in art and design and in the academic teacher. So how they can contribute, how can these people contribute for the research, the academic teaching, how can contribute to find in terms of creativity and find new ways of creation, and also we can use these as teams to work with the students. So here there is an example. This is Rosa Ramalho. that it was the first woman. The figurado started with 4 women in one region of Barcelos. So they were the beginners, because the men were the ones who did all these pieces for the daily life, but they started with what the men didn't use with clay. They started to do small things to the children, small pieces, so it was minor, it was not important. But then the men started to take it to the fair, local fair, every one time for week. They have the local fair, and they started to take this object, displaying objects, and they started to sell a lot of them. So that's how it started, from something that women do with the rest of the clay for the children, and then now it's the main production of this region. So Rosa Ramalho is one of them. It's the person you see here, and she was discovered by a painter and artist in the north of Portugal that was António Quadros. So what you have in the lower part is the works of António Quadros. So he found her in a fair, and he was crazy about this, and he was a teacher in the Faculty of Fine Arts of Porto. And he took his students to see her work and bring her to the school, so that they can change knowledgement, technical knowledgement, and also this kind of creativity influences, and how this imaginary that she uses and all these artisans use. So that's why we say that she and all of them are good for us, like something like they give us the motives, and they give us the problems, and we try to solution. And this is how we say that they are very important for us, because it's this kind of work between artisans and the academy, and artisans, and also the research and development in these areas. We do it a lot in Portugal. We have a lot of nature missions. We have a lot of a lot of artisans in different areas. So the schools are always working with this. So in this part you have the influences and some of the work of the painter. On the upper part you have the artist. Contextualization, art and design is a tool for the communication of diversified identity and cultural image. So this is where we enter. We are designers, we are communication and graphic designers, but not also, we have to also illustrators. But I took this work from IGA, it's American Institute of Graphic Arts. It's one of the professional institutions. So they say that as a designers, when we point our own ambitions at solving the problems that stand in the way of progress, you can play a vital catalyzing role. So this is what we have for the crafts, this catalyzing role to help them in this region to try to find new approachments, new pieces. And so I'm going to show you some of the projects that we have done. I don't know how much time I have now.
You have more. 5 minutes. Okay. I'll let you know when it's 5.
Okay. Yes, please. So in this case, I'm going to show you some of the projects in different situations. I will try to explain the best as I can. Some of them were developed with me, some of them were with my colleague, but I will try to explain them as best as I can in a short time. As I told you in the beginning, all these projects in the beginning, the students contact with the artisans and speak with them, make interviews. Sometimes the artisans come to the school, and we have this kickoff meeting of start the projects with the artisans. And the students must know, the artists must go to the offices or the places where they work and see how they do it, how they paint, which kind of methodologies they do work. This is one piece. It's not in molds or not in standard productions. It's handling individually, so you don't have two equal pieces. So first, it's every of these projects look like this. First, there's a contact with them. There's a conversation with them, and the students must know this very well. And then they know it has the history, they know it as the process of developing and creating the pieces, but they also know this kind of rules for the figurado, what are the colors, what kind of figures you can use, and all those things. So first there's the contact with the artisans, and then they go through the class and start to develop their solutions. And normally in the end, we always go to the artisans, or the artisans come to us to assist to see the presentation is very good, because they also learn a lot, the artisans, seeing the students' work. And this school exists for a long time in Barcelos, and you notice that is a big evolution also in the work and the synergies between the design school and the artisans. So here is a bit some images of the process. This was shown to events, to conferences and exhibitions. But here the students because they are connected to one of the masters that we have, illustration and animation. So the students were the one who did all the image, the branding and the visual. So we took this because with these conferences that are international conferences that can a lot of people from the rest of the world, this is a way we see it as a way of dissemination of this culture. So when it's on the identity or visual identity of these events, so we see it also as a dissemination of this culture. So the students do the search of the references, and then they draw the figures, they do their own interpretation of these figures of figurado, and then they applied and did it all the communication of the conference. Here it's another one. So the illustrations are not the same. So you have different students working, different languages, but the main theme is there, the figurado. So the personas, or the people, or all these imaginary persons that live in this communication are the figurado pieces. Then we have this parallel project it was done between the master students and the University of Rio de Janeiro, PUC. So it was a poster exhibition, and our posters were in a big exhibition in São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro with other students from other parts of the world. And the theme of this was based on traditions and popular traditions. So these are some of the students' work of the posters. So with their language, with their technologies and all those things, they did their own interpretations about the figures, the story of figurado. So it is a dissemination also. It is a reflection of what they see in their own interpretation of what it is. So you have a lot of technologies and different technologies. I will do it faster, so different languages. Okay, but I have a lot of words. So you have different approaches, but it's master in illustration and animation. So it's a very concrete team. For instance, these ones we did with these three ones and some of the other ones we talked about the municipality, and we did the big banners, and it were in the summer were all along the city. These big banners with these figures. So the city hall of Barcelos is always asking us, please, can we do this or do? So we are artisans, people who live in Barcelos, city hall, and students. We are always working on this because it is a regional institution. So if we have this place with these people, we work a lot of them. So try to do investigation, all those things. This was one project that was made in my class. This is the first year graphic design course, first year students in first semester. So they come from zero. We hope that they can, if they don't have, they will go to zero again and starting from the beginning. So you have some of the parts they did. The project was try to develop packaging for these pieces. So they are very fragile, and it's always a problem. So they normally use newspaper and the artisans to try to protect the pieces, and they don't have any kind of branding or any kind of image when they sell. Nowadays, these pieces are they have very much value, all the tourists want to go to their offices and buy some of the pieces. So we try to do some solutions. So here we have the first meeting with the artisans. They are in the middle. Then we did a lot of text experimentations, errors. We also went to the offices of the artisans, and then the students did their proposals. So we had this airbag concept of the protection for the pieces, but there was also a problem that was really expensive, the part of the money. So they did a lot of, we didn't always need the paper, so it was not possible to, so we thought about more the image. So there are a lot of suggestions for the pieces, and try to do it with some novel materials. Other works are conceptual. This is very difficult, very expensive, but okay, the student did it, and we try to always search. And the one that the artisans and the city hall choose was this one, because this is made, it could be made by the artisans. They could do the box, and they could paint, and they could have the tissue, the tote bag, and everything can do by hand and with their materials. So the only thing it was this part, but all the things they could do it. So and they could do different packagings, and they could do different things. So it's going to the basics, and it was one of the works. It's not implemented because the city hall told the artisans, okay, we will help you, but they didn't until now. So the artisans are waiting. So, but because it was very nice. Montiro, it's another project with Rio de Janeiro, and was a digital exhibition. And this project, in the paper, you have the website, you can see it because this is online. It's a virtual exhibition. So, and the students work about the tradition of Portugal and this kind of feasts in traditional, and did illustrations about this. So they were in this virtual exhibition that all people of the world, and there were many students from Brazil and Portugal that collaborate. And then this is the last one. I don't know how much time, 1 minute. So the last one, this is a master student, 2 minutes. A master student, he did this work in my college orientation. He finished now. So it is illustration and animation master. So they have this artist thing, to make the pieces and the artistic pieces and all those things. So this one was the 7 devils. Okay, so the devil is one of the personas that appear a lot. So he created 7 diablos for the 7 capital, I forgot the word, scenes. So he created one of them, but he did the illustrations, but also the pieces in ceramic. So he went to the offices and worked with the artisans. So it was an exhibition, and it's very, very, very nice, this story that he created. You can see it better. So what do we think? It's for finalizing what our conclusions of what we think, what we will continue to do in our school is this connection to the community, this connection of these traditions, and also to take our students for this, because the ones who are from the region don't know much of these things. So now we don't know this, we don't know. I never saw it. So it's a very intensive work with the people, but with the artisans and local people. But I think they learn a lot with this. So they learn something about Illustrator, Photoshop, whatever. Tomorrow maybe we will not exist. So the main thing is thinking about the project, make the right questions. So and for that they have a methodology near to the producers, near to the creators. So it's this. Obrigada, thank you in Portuguese. So obrigada. Sorry.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Yes, when the local people, when they see the products of the students, do you have any reactions of?
They love it. They never think about it. They always, oh, you must go to my, in Portuguese we call it oficina. I don't know the name in English. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But to my place work, my workspace, we can do things together. They are very open now. They want that, even if they are designers or whatever, they are very open to share. We have some post graduations in ceramics, so they can, and they teach to the students. And many of the illustration master students took this course, so they are doing a lot of illustration in clay, 3D illustrations, and they are doing this connection. This is very nice for them for the artisans to open the view and to learn something. So they like very much to go to, because they will learn to, that's what they say.
Yeah.
And the opposite, the students can give some just suggestions or ideas to the artisans, because they are always trying to do something new inside of the figurado rules. And this is just belonging to Barcelos, there's nothing else.
And there is no danger that they should not lose but change their very authenticity.
There is, for instance, you have the rules certified. You have the paper with the rules. It's like when we are designers, we know what are the conditions, what are the restrictions. So we start to do solutions that will go in this. You don't do something that will never be made. You do something that is supposed to be made. But sometimes this is the beginning, the starting point. Now we would start again with a dam and start to personalize the objects, try to make some adjustments so that it can be useful and that can be possible to produce it. So it's like the packaging. It was the basic one that was the solution. But this is what came from they told what were the problems. And one of the problems was the specificity of the pieces they broke. And normally they broke in the same place, 3 of them. If you did I did it with the students, with the rooster, the Portuguese rooster. So it's from Barcelos. Everyone leaves it. So 90% broke here and in the tail. So we know, okay, these are the most difficult points. So we did all this. So that it's not the solution. It's not only aesthetic. The solution has a lot of things, because it's like very simple, but it's not simple.
Very interesting project, because you have the same in music, like for example, Villa Bartok, the Hungarian composer, who recorded everything from people who just singing whilst they're working or on the field. They recorded everything and was looking what was the real authenticity in this, and then he integrated it in his way of composing.
That is the most important.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
You must know very well the team that you are working with, in terms of what it is, in terms of production, whatever. So when you know it very well, then the solutions, the results will be nice. Many times are not perfect, but it's the right way. So then sometimes you need to test it many times and then solve it and all those things. But it's one of our flags, of this institution, of the school. So we have these people in these regions, so rich. Okay, you have all the mentors, all the teachers, the international ones, whatever, it's good, okay, but then let's work on
it is important that they are not making copies, they are assimilating this authenticity, assimilating in new things.
It's amazing to me that your government is so supportive of something that started in grassroots.
No, mainly it's not the government, it's the investigation centers and the money for the investigations. Because the government so the municipality, this is for the tourism, it's very nice.
For tourism.
But here what is most important is the research and investigation. So that's why you say you have research on.
See, I do early childhood with younger children, and this is like an approach, we call it the project approach, doing, having young children that would learn everything about, these people, these artisans, and about the figures, and then doing what you just did, only doing it with younger kids, as part of the curriculum, and they learn about